Now, good evening and welcome to Uliza Daktari. Now, on the show today, we have some very special guests because today we are going to be looking at a very special condition when it comes to hearing loss. So on my left, I'm going to be having sign language interpreters. So joining us today is Belinda and Wilson, and on your screen is Liz. I am your host on the show. My name is Dr. Lauren Mengesa. I am an obstetrician and gynecologist, Daktari wa kina mama. I am based at Akira Care, which is at the Upper Hill Medical Center and at the Nairobi Hospital. Now, joining me today is a consultant audiologist. His name is Richard. He has an interesting journey that started as a pharmacist, and somehow along the way, his interest picked into hearing loss. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Tell us a bit about what you do and how you entered this space.
Yeah, my name is Richard Mwangi. I'm a consultant audiologist. And I started this medical practice from pharmaceutical world, as you mentioned. And it has been about 21 years of practice. Currently, we are based in a facility called Doctors of Hearing, which is in Westlands and Upper Hill. So our line of business or our line of practice is hearing and balance. That's basically what we do. And this is the best time to discuss this hearing impairment, considering that we've just celebrated World Hearing Day on March 3rd, yes. Which we are given the theme by World Hearing, World Health Organization, which is from communities to classrooms. So it will be an important discussion to have so that we can see how we can help our viewers on early diagnosis or screening until somebody gets the management of this problem.
Now, right next to Daktari is Sheila. Sheila, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Sheila Apio, and that's my sign name. I'm a law student. Ever since, I've been learning, and also I'm a part-time worker, and I work as an advocacy officer, and my roles are in the development of the deaf community. Thank you.
Now, next to Sheila is Collins. Collins, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for your question. My name is Collins Sayan, and that's my sign name. I'm a student. I'm a nursing assistant student at Itiba Training College in Mwiki, 17B. So right now I'm proceeding with my internship at St. Francis Community Hospital. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, as we said earlier, 3rd March was the World Hearing Day, and the theme was moving the care of hearing loss from the community to the classroom. And why, you might ask? This is because children are some of the most highly undiagnosed or underdiagnosed population when it comes to hearing loss. And I'm sure Richard is going to tell us why that is so and why they're a special group when it comes to this particular area and space. Now, please talk to us on our SMS lines. That's at 22422. Engage us on our socials at Uliza Daktari and at Daktari_Mengesa. Tell us about your experience with hearing loss. Have you experienced problems with your hearing, or do you know anyone who has had the same, and what has the experience been? Now, Richard, we're talking about children. We're talking about moving care from the community to the classroom, because we're saying that when children go undiagnosed, this is going to affect the development of their brain, their education, and their future. So what is unique about children and hearing loss?
Now, children, when they are born, you might not tell whether they're hearing or not, okay? But of late, there are so many tests that can be done, and especially when the mother was maybe predisposed to some kind of ailments, some kind of medication, this can be diagnosed from the day one. But why is it important for the child to be diagnosed, to be screened for hearing test, for hearing impairment? Simple, because if you don't hear, you'll not speak. And most of the cases that you find lately is that you find children who are delayed talking, or they delayed developing speech. And that has been the case which I've been diagnosing for the past years that I've been practicing. Now, children, when they are left undiagnosed, they cannot be able to go to school like others because they cannot hear, they cannot develop language. And more so, if they have got a bit of hearing, let's say they are a bit mild, moderate, yes, they might develop speech, but when they go to classrooms, they might not be able to hear what is being taught, what the teacher is saying. So it is very important to know whether the child is hearing. That's why the World Hearing Day, this year we're celebrating communities to classrooms, because we are calling upon parents or the guardians to have this exposure of their children to get their test done if they have got a problem and they have noticed it, whether they have got delayed. As simple as if the child at around 3 months to 6 months they didn't have that cooing or that baby kind of a language, it's very easy for a parent to know that. And that can be screened, that can be diagnosed, and when it's diagnosed at an early stage, this child can go to school like others. And that's why we are saying from community to the classroom. And now when it goes to the classroom, teachers are very important in this part, because also the cases that we find is the teacher complaining that, I think your child has got a hearing problem. No. And I think we need to have a hearing test done, because it may be taken like the child is less concerned about what's going to the classroom, or doesn't want to be taught, or child is being rude. So it is very important to have the child hearing test done if there's all signs of late development of speech. The baby, there's no baby talk, what to say, cooing of the baby. If that is happening, let the baby be brought to us and we do the screening.
Ni kweli daktari, mara nyingi watoto hawa wanaonekana ni kama pengine wana shida, utovu wa nidhamu, maana wanaongeleshwa hawajibu, wanapewa maagizo hawafuati. So it's important to, before you label a child indisciplined, to first identify could there be a challenge that the child is having. Collins, unaweza tuambia kidogo kuhusu how your diagnosis was made? How old were you, na ni nini haswa ilifanya mzazi wako akajua kuna shida, na nini ilifuata baada ya hapo?
So my parents used to teach me how to speak. I used to only know how to say mom and dad when I was about 2 years old. So wakati nilikuwa miaka 4, ule uwezo wangu wa kusikia ulipotea. Unaona alama hii iliyo hapa usoni mwangu, niliteguka nikaanguka na nikaumia paka kwenye jino. Kwa hiyo hapo ndio nilipoteza uwezo wangu kusikia. So wakati nilikuwa pale nyumbani, mama alikuwa akiniita, lakini sikuwa namsikia, namuona tu. Sasa wengine walikuwa wananiangalia wakidhani kwamba sina nidhamu ama nimekuwa sina tabia nzuri. Kwa hiyo nikapelekwa hospitali pale karibu. Daktari akaniuliza akamuuliza mamangu mbona siwezi kuzungumza, na ikawa ya kwamba akajaribu kunipima kama nina gonjwa fulani, akanitazama, lakini baadaye ikapatikana kwamba siwezi kusikia. Kwa hiyo nikapelekwa katika hospitali ya Kenyatta pale Nairobi. Daktari akanifanyia ile diagnosis, akaniangalia kwenye moyo, akanipima malaria, manake kawaida 0 to 2 huwa kuna hiyo changamoto. Kwa hiyo mimi katika sikio langu la kulia ilikuwa siwezi kusikia vizuri. Kwa hiyo nikapelekwa shule ya wale ambao wote wanaweza kuzungumza na kusikia. Sasa mimi nilikuwa peke yangu pale, siwezi kusikia, lakini kuandika nako nilikuwa naweza kuandika. Kwa hiyo baadaye nikakaa pale, mamangu akaweza kuzungumza na mwalimu, na mwalimu yule akamwambia kwamba kuna shule nzuri ya wanafunzi kama mimi ambayo ni Machakos School for the Deaf, na mamangu aliweza kufurahi sana. Kwa hiyo mwaka wa 2009 nikaenda pale shule na nikarudia ile darasa ambayo nilikuwemo mwanzo na nikaendelea. Na kuanzia hapo nikaendelea pale. Na dadangu alikuwa ananifundisha jinsi ya kuzungumza kidogo kidogo. Kwa hiyo mimi naweza kutamka maneno kidogo kidogo. Sikio langu la kulia kidogo linaweza kusikia mtu akibisha mlango. Kwa hiyo nashukuru Mungu ya kwamba nilirudi shule na nikaweza kujifunza mpaka nikafika wakati huu. Kwa hiyo mimi sasa hivi naweza kuzungumza kwa kimbali kidogo tu. Kwa mfano, kitu kama mambo, nikiona mdomo wako ukizungumza naweza kujibu poa. Na mtu anaweza dhani kwamba huyu ni mtu ambaye anaweza sikia. Wewe ni kweli wewe unaweza kusikia ama huwezi kusikia. Lakini ukiniangalia vizuri, mimi naweza kusoma kwenye mdomo na ili hapo hivyo ndipo naweza kutamka maneno machache. Kwa hiyo watu wengine mara nyingine wanadhani kwamba siwezi kusikia, lakini sikio langu la kulia lina 7% ya uwezo wa kusikia.
Wow. So Collins is training to be a nurse and Sheila is training to be a lawyer. So do you know what kind of support is needed for someone who has hearing impairment? What happens when they go to visit the doctor or when they need to seek services from a public office? For this and more, we're going to be right here after the break, so stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
Renewed Malfix is now even more absorbent with double-layered upper surface. Only 20 Kenya shillings, single-piece Malfix at your duka.
Nguvu ya safari yetu, nuru ya kujenga na kuangaza nchi. Nuru ya maendeleo, nuru ya ustawi, nuru ya ubunifu.
Dial *977# or download my Power app to access Kenya Power services fast and easy. Kenya Power, nuru ya Kenya.
Ngozi yako ina glow. Nilijipaka mafuta leo asubuhi nikikam, lakini skin yangu ishaparara and it looks so dull.
Sis, see, it's the new Nice and Lovely Lemon Extract Body Lotion.
Hiyo ndio secret yangu to a moisturized and bright skin. Usimix.
New Nice and Lovely Lemon Lotion, enriched with vitamin C and sunflower seed oil for 48-hour nourishing glow and brighter skin. Try Nice and Lovely Lemon Lotion today.
Renewed Malfix is now even more absorbent with double-layered upper surface. Only 20 Kenya shillings, single-piece Malfix at your duka.
Sunlight 2-in-1 for burst after burst of long-lasting freshness. Sunlight 2-in-1.
Festival Nakafu.
Enjoy fresh fried vegetable oil 5 liters at 1,079 shillings. Assorted Ariel powder 1.5 kg at 644 shillings. Zenta soap cream 1 kg at 145 shillings. And Mika washing machine at 77,995 shillings.
One big shopping sherehe. Nakafu.
But all that's gonna change now.
Oh, Arturo, you know exactly how I feel
Valeria,
about you.
I promise you, if you choose to come back to me, you're not going to regret it.
Switch to 4G. Enjoy blazing speeds and grab some amazing surprises. Maisha poa ni digital.
Just a payslip. Get a mobile loan of up to 500,000 shillings or an unsecured loan of up to 9 million shillings. Visit a Cooperative Bank branch today. Cooperative Bank. We are you.
And welcome back. Now on to your questions. Hi, my son is now 22 years old and he lost his hearing from the left ear in 2023. The doctor said that the eardrum burst. Is this a permanent problem? Mwingine anasema, Daktari, I have tinnitus. Please tell me more about it because it is so uncomfortable. Hello, Daktari, can TB medication cause hearing impairment? Anasema mfanyakazi wake mmoja alikuwa anatumia dawa za TB na baadaye akapata shida ama upungufu wa kusikia. So before we get into the questions, Sheila, Tungependa kuelewa ulipata shida ya upungufu wa kusikia ukiwa na miaka ngapi, na baadaye ulisaidiwa kwa njia gani?
Okay, yes, that's a good question. I became deaf at the age of 3. From that time up to now, I've never knew why I became deaf, but later I got an information from my father, that I became deaf because when I was sick, I was brought to the hospital. Then I got wrong diagnosis. And then from that time, I was given wrong medication, and then it made my ear, it got lost. So I became completely deaf. So I cannot hear any sound, I cannot hear any voice. So I help myself. How I help myself is through my father, who has been good to me. He's a concerned father. He's so concerned with my life. Also, my family members did not keep me away. So my family is an inclusive family. They supported me. Any challenge I had in communication, they have. I'm lucky to have them. My mother knows how to sign. Of course, she's a trainer in sign language, and she can speak. She can sign well for me. So for 8 years now, from that time I've been well. So I can also speak, but I cannot hear. And then my mother also teaches children how to sign. So where I see challenges where deaf people face is assumption. The assumption, people believe that deaf cannot do anything, so they are neglected most of the time. But that's not true. We have a normal life as an individual who became deaf at that age. I can try to wear that shoes. So especially when it comes to communication barriers, it's a problem within the family, within the environment. So the environment should be inclusive. A child or a person who is deaf, who is deaf, should not be left to feel lonely. So they can develop stress, or they can. They must get people to interact with so that they can live a normal life. So with the help of my mother and my father up to now, so the history of the help is what made me be who I am today, because they gave me education. So I've been also trying to, I've learned from primary to high school to now I'm a law student. So it's because of my parents. So it has become my favorite thing. So because I want to feel and become part of advocacy community in the country to try to improve the welfare of the deaf community. So children or people, parents and who have children with disability should try to accept their children first. Do not neglect your children, do not avoid them, do not ignore them. No, it is not their fault that they became deaf. Please try and support. So that also makes me feel like I want to be a lawyer and try to meet with the government and maybe interact and see how they can develop education for these children who are deaf. Also to learn well. So in Kenya, we have deaf students, and they have learned from primary to high school to universities. But they have also challenges. So their challenges is not because they can't, it's because they are ignored. Their needs are not taken care of. So I believe that if I finish the studying law, then I'll be able to interact well with the government to help improve the system of education for children with deafness. So the children who have lost hearing, it does not mean that you've lost everything. It's not the end of life. You have to work hard to improve yourself as a person. So you parents outside there, if you get a child who is deaf, or who has hearing loss, maybe later in life, try to interact with them, try to support them and help them to improve. And also you can teach them a little bit of speech so that they can develop oral reading. Also go take them for, you also must try and go to get a training so that you can try sign, so that you can be inclusive. You can sign with the children. And then the family can also, you must learn sign language so that the children do not feel abandoned. Yes, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Sheila. Sorry about your experience. We are indeed proud of you. Your passion is quite palpable. Now, Richard, kuna maswali yanasema nini inasababisha shida hii? Some people are concerned about drugs. Kuna ule amesema anti-TBs. Sheila anatuambia kulikuwa na something medical she had. Anaona hiyo ndio wakati ambapo kuna makosa ilitokea na akapata shida ya kusikia. Are there preventable causes of deafness? And what are the common things? Mambo kama meningitis, infections kama gani ambazo zinaweza sababisha mtu kupoteza kusikia?
I'll start with answering the question of the anti-TBs medication that has been, our viewers asked the question. Yes, there's some medication, we call them ototoxic. Basically, that is saying that this medication harms the hearing organ. And they are used, yes, and they are used because what they are used to treat, it might be of life-threatening situation. And that is, anti-TBs, the way our viewers have said. We also have antimalarials like quinine, quite a number of medications, some cancer medication that causes all this. But remember, they are used, yes, because of the problem that is more life-threatening.
So the benefit outweighs the risk.
The benefits outweighs the risk. So the risk we are left with to deal with, because again, it doesn't affect everyone. Not anyone will get this anti-TB medication or quinine and develop the hearing problem. So it is not everyone that gets this problem. When it's there, when it develops, it's good enough for the patient to come to have a hearing test. But what happens to the doctor who is starting, especially the regime of anti-TBs, is that they would like to see the hearing test before starting the medication. And then as the medication, the treatment continues, they would want to monitor, periodic test so that you can see whether it is damaging the hearing or it is okay for the continuation. So sometimes they may opt to change the medication, but they are also concerned and they are aware of the side effects so that they can be able to know how to manage the outcome at the end. For our viewer who was also asked about the perforation of the eardrum, some of these cases, they can be treated surgically, especially if the case is perforation of the eardrum of whatever reason. It can be an accident, a traumatic experience, or maybe a person was using cotton bud and then pushed it so far and then it perforated the eardrum. That can be done by the ENTs to do the surgical work, and that can be repaired. Now, if there's a situation where there's what you call a mixed hearing loss, that says that the nerve has been affected and the media part of it has been affected, that becomes a teamwork between audiologists, that is us, who we call ourselves doctors of hearing, and also for the ENT to look at the surgical work of that. Our viewer also asked about the tinnitus.
Tinnitus, no.
Yeah, tinnitus is a sound. A patient can feel a ringing sound, a buzzing sound. You can feel it's like raining. You can feel like cricket. You can feel like a shell. Those kind of sounds, or you can even feel like a rolls kind of a sound. Now, this sound can be as a result of so many things. One, hearing impairment. Two, wax impaction. And three, it can be as a result of where there's an infection. Now, to know where the source of this problem is starting, because we say tinnitus is not actually a disease, it's a sign or symptom of something. So we need to look at what is causing it. And then once we know what is causing it, we start the management. Yeah, so it has to be seen where it is originating from so that we do the management of it. Yeah.
So, Daktari, you mentioned in the preventable causes of hearing loss, kuna hii shida ya kelele, lakini ni vigumu saa zingine kujua kelele ikiwa kiasi gani ndio tutasema hii kelele inaweza fanya ukuwe na madhara ambayo inaweza fanya upoteze ama ufate upungufu wa kusikia.
Unaweza pima kelele na kitu tunaita decibels. But apart from that, what I normally say is that if you cannot have a conversation, meaningful conversation at a person at an arm length, the noise is too much for you. Hiyo kelele ni mingi sana. Tuseme tumesimama karibu na wewe na tunaongea, all we are doing is shouting to each other. hiyo kelele is too much for our ears and it will damage. So why is noise so important to us? It is the only thing that you can prevent from causing a hearing loss.
Yeah.
The noise causes something we call noise-induced hearing problem. And this is not reversible. That's the sad part of it. Well, we can prevent it. You'll find so many people wearing so many things in their ear and they are exposing themselves to too much sound. Yeah.
Naam, tuna simu. Hello.
Hello, Uliza Daktari.
Karibu sana Uliza Daktari. Habari ya Kapsabet?
Kapsabet ni kwema kabisa. Huyu ni Darius kutoka Kapsabet.
Swali lako.
Ningependa kuuliza mtoto ambaye amezaliwa na shida ya kutosikia, kuna uwezekano kwamba in future anaweza sikia tu? Tuseme mtoto amezaliwa na kama, kuna uwezekano kwamba in future anaweza sikia, ama kama mtoto amezaliwa kama hiyo inakuwa ni permanent?
Naam, asante kwa swali lako. Okay, so we are going to come to that question shortly because we will look at the possible solutions. Lakini kabla tuende pale, Collins. Sasa hizi tunaona kuna shule ambazo wameanza kutumia vifaa za artificial intelligence, yani AI. Wanasema wakati tunafanya hiyo sign language, it can be translated onto a screen on the board. Now, in your experience and training, ni vitu gani ambazo zimeweza kukusaidia ili uweze kufanya masomo yako ili ufike pahali umefika sasa hivi?
Wakati nilipokwenda shule ile, nikiwa chekechea nikijifundisha alphabets, mara nyingine nikiwa shuleni pale, vile huwa kuna mtafsiri wa lugha ishara ambaye anajitolea, wengine nao inapaswa tuwalipe, na hivyo hivyo kuna kitu ambacho kimekuja saa hizi ambacho kinaitwa AI. Kwa sababu unaweza pata kwamba yule mtafsiri wa lugha ishara pengine hayuko, lakini kwa kutumia AI inaweza kutusaidia pale shuleni sisi kama wale ambao hatuwezi kusikia. Mara nyingine tukitumia ile AI inaweza kutusaidia na tunaweza kujifunza na kusikia na kujua kinachoendelea.
All right. So the question is asked, is there a solution? After making a diagnosis of hearing loss, je, kuna kitu ambacho tunaweza fanya ili uweze kusikia hapo kwa siku za usoni? So Richard is going to take us through some of those solutions right after the break.